It seems like Zack Snyder is once again partnering with Netflix to bring us Rebel Moon. And based on the trailer, I genuinely have no idea what direction this film is going to go in. I mean, on one hand, it seems to be set in this far future sci-fi setting, but at the same time we see things like griffins and more fantasy elements. And all the while, the trailer has a voiceover done by Anthony Hopkins describing how he has visions of like this princess who he won't be able to help, but that she'll have to take down this fascist empire. And honestly, this made me think that this movie might be similar to Cloud Atlas in that it's set in various different time periods, and that we see sort of one continuous story set throughout different eras of history. I mean, if this movie does take place in different eras of history, it would help explain why we are seeing a shirtless guy riding a griffin in the same trailer where we also see an assassin with lightsabers fighting an alien spider girl. Though that is something which has me very intrigued is how this movie seems to be blending elements of sci-fi with space travel and grotesque aliens along with more traditional fantasy elements like griffins and kings. There's just so much going on in this trailer with things that don't seem like they would initially go together, but it has me very excited to see just how this movie turns out. Or should I say movies, as it is revealed at the end of the trailer, that this movie will be split into two parts, with part 1 releasing this December, and part 2 releasing later in April. Which that could also explain why there are things in this trailer that don't really mesh together, as it could be that there are scenes mixed from both movies here, with the first movie being set more in the past and part 2 being in the future. I guess we'll just have to wait to find out if that's true. Or perhaps this movie really does attempt to blend these more traditional fantasy elements with sci-fi concepts for a wholly unique experience. Either way, I can't wait to see how these movies turn out. Especially since, after the trailer ended, I just assumed this would be based on some indie comic or something. But when I went to search, it turns out this is an entirely original concept by Zack Snyder, which has me even more excited to see what exactly this movie turns out to be. I mean, just based on the small bits of information we get from the trailer alone, it seems like this movie is going to be about a princess living on a farm who has to join some sort of rebellion when her home is attacked by an evil fascist empire. It's also prophesized that she will rise up and be responsible for the destruction of this empire and freeing the people, all set in a sci-fi universe that incorporates more fantasy elements, which, when described like that, makes it sound exactly like Star Wars, but with a more Zack Snyder lens to it. And honestly, while I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan, I think that seeing Star Wars through his lens could make for an amazing movie. Or at the very least, it's on Netflix, so if it turns out to be terrible, well, you can just stop watching it any time and put something else on. But what do you think about Rebel Moon? Was this a movie you were even aware is coming out this year? And do you plan on watching it? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching.